Welcome into Steelers Talk Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry. Today I'm going to be breaking down 6 Steelers that are currently on the roster that I think could be cut before the start of the 2023 NFL season. But before we get into today's action, you be the GM here. Let me know, who's a player that the Steelers should cut this offseason? Is there somebody that you have a particular just hatred for that you want off the team? Let me know in the comment section right now. Now let's get into our first name of today's list, which is Ahkello Witherspoon. Now we did trade candidates the other day, and I had Ahkello Witherspoon number 1 on my list of trade candidates as well. But Ahkello absolutely could be cut here before the start of the 2023 season. It's absolutely a possibility. He did not play well in 2022. There's no other way to cut it. He got burned multiple times in a number of games this year. He only played in 4 games due to a hamstring injury, and it really just shot his speed completely. He was not fast whatsoever, and he's never had a fully healthy season, period, in 6 years in the NFL. So, can you trust this guy to stay on the field? No way you can't. So that's why, he's kind of in limbo right now. And also the Steelers added guys like Patrick Peterson, Joey Porter Jr., and Corey Trice Jr. this offseason via the draft and free agency. So, when it comes to Ahkello, I think that he's somebody that can play at a high level. He's shown that in this league before. It's been in limited action, but he's shown that if he stays healthy, he can be a really darn good corner. He's very long. He's very physical. He's very, very good in press man coverage when he has his speed. But the thing is that he's also got that big-time bust potential, right? We saw that with the big plays that he allowed last year. We've seen that with some poor play earlier on in his career. Will he have his speed back after multiple hamstring injuries at this point in his career? That is a major, major question mark. If he doesn't have the speed, it's very possible that he is not on the Steelers roster heading into 2023, and he gets cut coming out of training camp. But there's still the chance that he could be pretty darn good. We saw it in the 2 seasons before last year. Okay, last year he only played in 4 games, so he did not register according to Pro Football Focus rankings. 45.4, not great last year, but the 2 years before that, 75.8 in 2022, 13th best in the league, not bad whatsoever. And then his last season in San Francisco, he had an 80.2 grade, which was good for the 6th best in the National Football League. So this guy is still someone that if he has the speed, he's a good fit for the Steelers defense, and he could potentially even be a starter for the Steelers heading into 2023. And you take a look at the cap savings that you would get if you make this decision. You're getting $4 million extra in cap space by doing this. If the Steelers want to go get like a J.J. Watt or another free agent that they need to spend some significant money on, this might be one of the moves that the Steelers consider making. They've released Arthur Maulet. They might consider dumping another cornerback, but I do think he will be on the Steelers roster heading into training camp, and his performance in camp is really going to decide whether he's a Steeler in 2023. So let me know right now in the comments section, will Ahkello Witherspoon make the Steelers' final 53-man roster? Type Y if you think yes, or type N if you think no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, which means that top comment there in the comment section, that's the pinned comment. So go ahead, find that comment, and answer today's question. Number 2 on my list, we're going to shift to special teams here with punter Presley Harvin III. Okay, and we all know, as Steelers fans, Harvin has not been the best punter since he entered the National Football League, and it seems like the Steelers are definitely taking notice of that. Right now, he is the starting punter, but you do bring in Brendan Mann and Adam Korsak from Rutgers as an undrafted free agent. They're going to be competing with Presley Harvin big time in camp this year, and I think one of those other guys could potentially take Harvin's job, and if that's the case, you're not keeping a second punter. Presley Harvin would definitely be on the chopping block. If you let him go, it's not much in cap savings. It's a little bit under $1 million. You'd pretty much accrue nothing in dead cap if you end up releasing him at the end of training camp. So that is where he's at in terms of the cap situation with Presley Harvin III. And if you want a brand new, officially licensed Joey Porter Jr. jersey. We have those available for you guys on the Chat Sports website at chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. I mean, I was certainly among those Steelers fans that didn't think Joey Porter Jr. was going to be there in the second round for the Steelers, but lo and behold, the football gods delivered him to Omar Khan, and now he will be wearing black and gold, just like his legendary dad in Pittsburgh. If you want to get his jersey, I'm telling you, these items do not last long, especially these family-tied items. Go ahead, go chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. to get your Joey Porter Jr. Steelers jersey today. Now we got Kevin Dotson, and, you know, Kevin's somebody that played last year, got a lot of criticism from Steelers fans. Not a great run blocker, was okay in pass protection last year, only 4 sacks allowed, and, you know, he's somebody that is a starter-capable player. He can play in the league if you're in a pinch, but he's definitely not somebody that, you know, you're going to be like, oh, man, I need Kevin Dotson on my starting offensive line. Last year, he was the 30th ranked overall offensive guard in the National Football League, according to Pro Football Focus, mainly due to his pass protection, which was pretty solid last year. But the Steelers really made a statement this offseason and said, what you gave us last year was just not good enough. You sign Isaac Seumalo and Nate Herbig in free agency. You bring in Spencer Anderson in the 7th round of the NFL draft. It seems like if any of these guys here, between those backups there of Dotson, Anderson, and Herbig, especially if Anderson has a good camp, Dotson could be on the chopping block. My guess is he probably won't get cut, however. I think he'll probably be a backup, and he's going to be a pretty high-value backup at the guard position. However, if you do cut him, you save $2.7 million in cap space, which might be nice. Like I said before, if you want to go out and get a J.J. Watt, if you want to go out and get a Kyle Van Noy, you need a little bit more cap space. Kevin Dotson, who's probably, the 5th or 6th interior offensive lineman on your team, might be a good option for you to cut. Then we get to Kendrick Green here, somebody that was a 3rd-round pick for the Steelers that just has not worked out, plain and simply. And just like Kevin Dotson, like Kendrick Green's name is just plummeting down the depth chart right now, and I just don't think that there's going to be much of a spot for him on the Steelers roster. And just plain simply, he's been a failure in Pittsburgh. It's not been the brightest draft moment for the Steelers taking this guy in round 3. Some people think he might move to fullback or something like that. I'm not too sure about that one. I think most likely he will either get cut or he will somehow earn a spot as a backup, but he's definitely on the chopping block in my opinion. You can save just under $1 million in cap space by getting rid of him, and you're going to be accruing a little bit less than $500,000 in dead cap space once you cut the cord with Kendrick Green. So moving on here. So before we get into the last couple names here, if you want in-depth Steelers coverage all offseason long, we're going to be covering the rookie minicamp here, the winners and losers, who's doing well, who's not playing well in rookie minicamp, and then all the way through OTAs, and then, of course, training camp. We're going to have you covered with which players are playing well, which players are impressing the coaching staff, all that good stuff. So if you want to have that insider information for your Pittsburgh Steelers here on YouTube, 100% free, do me a favor and click that subscribe button right now. Next name on our list today, Montravius Adams, somebody that played a little bit for the Steelers in 2022 and, had 26 tackles, but overall just wasn't very impressive, right? 48.9 Pro Football Focus grade, really low grade there, which ranked 105th out of 127 defensive tackles. Just plain simply not good enough at the nose tackle position last year. And then you sign Braden Fajoku and you draft Keeanu Benton in the NFL draft. So to me, that tells me that Montravius Adams is pretty much the lowest end of the totem pole there, and I don't think the Steelers are going to want to bring in 2 nose tackles. They're going to carry 3 nose tackles this year. I think they'll probably go with Benton and Fajoku. It's certainly possible that Adams beats out Fajoku in training camp. That's certainly a possibility, but right now it certainly seems like he's the favorite to get cut at the nose tackle position, and you can save quite a bit of money by cutting him, man. $2.5 million is a pretty good chunk of change. You're only accruing $0.7 million in dead cap, and I really think that would be a decent move, especially if you want to go get a guy like J.J. Watt to add to the defensive line, somebody that's actually going to play. I think cutting Montravius Adams would be a pretty decent move for the Steelers, in my opinion. And finally here, we got Gunnar Olszewski, a wide receiver, special teamer, played in the slot quite a bit last year when the Steelers were dealing with some injuries. And, he just wasn't overall very impressive. He's not a good route runner. He doesn't have good body control. His hands aren't all that great. He's had some miscues as the punt returner and kickoff returner this year, or last year, I should say. And the Steelers are getting Calvin Austin III back, who's a very good special teamer. They're bringing in some guys as UDFAs that are very impressive as punt and kick returners. I just think that one of those guys is going to be better than Gunnar Olszewski, and I think the $2 million that the Steelers can get in cap savings is going to be a little bit more valuable to the team than what Gunnar Olszewski can do on the field for you, at least in my opinion. You do take on just a little bit more than $500,000 in dead cap by getting rid of him, but that $2 million in savings sounds pretty good to me. So what do you guys think? Will Pittsburgh make another big free agent signing this offseason? Type S if you think there's going to be another signing here, or type D if you think that they're done and you think that they're done signing all these players in free agency. For me, I think it's certainly possible. Like if J.J. Watt says, I want to come play for you, I think they're going to find a way to make it work financially. But overall, I think the Steelers roster is really good. I think they can go into training camp feeling pretty darn good, but I think another addition might be kind of nice. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. If you want additional Steelers content on Twitter outside of YouTube here, you can go to @Jack_Sperry on Twitter. I put my film analysis on there, additional Steelers takes and content up on there. Really do appreciate all the real ones that go follow me on Twitter. Again, I'm @Jack_Sperry. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. I really appreciate you. I'll see you guys later. Peace.